Absolutely does. Absolutely
Okay, now we're
nothing.
live on this one.
Hi.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is your host, Robert. It is Toshiba. We're back again this Thursday for another episode of FYF, the show. We'll get into the full name of the show a little bit later. And glad we're back here doing it again. It's the show that we say the purpose of it, our tagline is to change the conversation around Black relationships. Like we need to do something different. I say it week in, week out, we need to do something different. And that's what we're trying to do, put our little 2 cents into the millions of pennies going on out there. But,
Right?
we just, like most of y'all, happen to think our 2 cents is better than most people. So that's why we're doing this.
Facts.
And as I've said, also, this is our couples therapy.
It
This
is our couples
one.
therapy.
We kind of.
He doesn't want to spend like $150 for an hour and a half. So we just do this every Thursday for an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's kind of our recalibration, temperature check. Remember that we're in this together. We're good together. And we're going to get where we're trying to go.
I appreciate
it's
you,
just
babe.
a matter of time.
I appreciate you,
just
babe.
a matter of time.
It's funny, everything looks tilted.
I was just telling Mr. Flowers 20 the same thing. Like, it's just a matter of time.
We look tilted, and so
it's because the camera is semi-tilted.
Tell me if we're good.
You can sit down and I'll do it.
I'd be like, I try. I do. I come up every week early. I set things up, and for some reason, see, there we go again. The camera is always an issue. Instagram is just a pain in the arse. So,
anyways, yeah. So we're in our third season, right?
Yep. We're about to be in our fourth season in March.
Our fourth season, we're doing what we call 25 episodes per season. We've been doing this long enough. We can give some backstory while we're waiting for people to join in or whatever. We've been doing this a little bit over a year now. We are in season 3. We're headed into season 4. So at the completion of season 3 will mean we've done 75 shows, ergo 75 weeks. We took 1 week off, I think.
And we made up for it.
Yeah, and
so we actually will have done 75
Oh, and then
shows.
I got to address a little bit of our controversy.
What a controversy.
We was talking about, Super Bowl was here last week. We was going to be doing all this
we did nothing.
We did nothing.
I recognize that I am a little older than I'd like to admit. And that wasn't actually the reason. That wasn't the reason I didn't go to Super Bowl. Here's the thing. Phoenix doesn't cater to folks that look like us on a regular. So for me, they hiked up all of the prices for Super Bowl.
And same raggedy stuff.
Thank you. And I was like, this isn't like the city of Toronto where I know every week.
Everything raggedy, but
no, but can I finish? Every week in the city of Toronto or like a New York, a Miami, and Atlanta, there's something to do for people that look like us. So if people paid a little bit extra for something special, they don't care. But for a city that doesn't really cater to us, and all of a sudden now I'm paying $200 for general admission to go see Fabulous live in Scottsdale. No.
To stand in a club.
So we opted not to do much of that.
And we could have slid into a couple places. Mr. Flowers was definitely moving and shaking. We could have probably slid into a couple of events and rubbed some shoulders, etc. But I'm just old, was not interested. I think we went to the casino on Saturday.
We went to the casino. That's what we did.
Had some fun there. I don't think we lost much money, and
that was that.
Man, I'd rather let her play slots, go play me some poker, and try to win me some money. And if I don't, I still had a good time. We're not big drinkers. Like, we just. Yeah, so
in Rob's world,
once it got to a certain point, I was like, I guess we were supposed to take a nap before we.
We went to sleep.
And
After the game,
It
we
was a
just went
wrap.
to sleep. But in Rob's world, this is how I've got to stand up. So hopefully people can see me up. But in Rob's world, this is what people do when they go to clubs.
Oh,
They
yeah.
take their phone and they do
Yeah.
this, and then they show
That's all I be
they
seeing.
show the club,
They be-
and he's like,
this is how people party nowadays.
he's like, I'm not doing none of that shit. He's like, I am not
You got
trying
like 400 people doing that.
He's like, I'm not trying to be in a room with people who are doing that. So he just refused. And that's okay. We're 43 and 46. It's
that's
just,
not
you know
interesting.
what?
I am definitely like, what is it? I don't believe in all of these super terminologies, but what is sapiosexual?
Yeah, you are a sapio or
I am
sapio,
like,
sapio,
man,
sapio.
whatever. Like, I'd rather be at like an open mic or something like
We'll
that.
do that.
Like,
Yes.
a sip and paint or something. Like, I'd rather be at a sip and paint. I'm just not for the rah-rah. I love Fabulous. Would have loved to see him meet Millie. It was a bunch of like, I mean,
But not for $200 for general admission
and not
for
the-
clubs that don't care about us this weekend. I'm sorry, I'm not doing that.
We would have needed a section that really been like invited, and we not that lit yet, so
We're good.
we're good.
We're good.
Until we get there.
We'll wait until people are inviting us to
Until
come
people
somewhere.
are inviting us to
No,
stuff.
we're straight. We're straight and we're old. So, and I'm gonna own it, right?
Yeah,
like
I'd much
I'll
rather-
brunch
What was that,
and
$400. We definitely just spent $400 at the cookie.
Thank
at
you.
the casino.
Thank
they
you.
have amazing food, amazing cookies.
they've got the greatest cookies actually. We're
No.
not.
Call me what you want.
We're not. We're not gonna spend $400 on meat
It
milk.
wasn't like, you know, Shaq had a big, huge tent out there. Tickets was outrageous. No offense to Shaq. Just now wait until
We're good.
Shaq invite me.
So we're good.
Until then,
We're straight. I'll be on the slots and he'll
he
be.
had plenty of people to support him.
He didn't need our
He
dollars.
did not need, especially in Phoenix, because there ain't even enough of us to support half of this stuff.
Facts.
Anyhow,
Moving on.
tonight's topic is
The 90-day rule and other stupid dating rules.
yes.
The 90-day rule was the beginning of my
Was
thing,
her
and then he
idea.
said, and then other stupid dating rules.
Yeah, other stupid dating rules. Guess who has most of the dating rules?
Oh God, who has most of the dating? I already know the answer to it, but of course, go ahead, Robert. You fill us in. Who's got most of the dating
I'm gonna
rules?
just leave it unsaid just to keep us moving in the algorithm. We all know who has more rules, more demands, more traits, more. When you say more, who are you more likely describing in a couple?
The woman, yes,
Okay.
I understand.
That's
Now,
why it's so great that I have you next to me, because you get to co-sign some of my foolishness.
so now, what the funny thing is, Rob had no idea about the 90-day rule. He had
Like, that's a
no
real
concept
thing.
of what this 90-day rule is. When I brought up the topic and I made him listen to the clip I'm going to play shortly, he was like, this is a real thing. And I was like, yeah. And, you know, Steve Harvey wrote about it in his book, Think Like a Man, and the 90-day rule. And, you know, I'm going to explain a little bit more. I might actually see if I can find the part of it from the book about that where I can read to you. But generally, the 90-day rule is, as I explained to Rob, is that a woman waits 90 days before she gives up her cookies to a man that she's dating. And the idea around it is it's like a trial period, just like when you start a new job. A lot of jobs have 90-day rules, and you have to be on probation for 90 days before you'll get your benefit package. So you don't get your health care, you don't get, you know, your medical, you don't get any of that until you've passed your 90-day probationary period. So a lot of women institute a 90-day probationary period for the men they're dating. Thoughts on that, Robert? Because again, he's just finding out about this week.
I could really go in.
Go ahead. I
But
want you to go in.
I'm going to just start. I'm going to actually be very strategic about this. Here's why 90-day rule is stupid. One, you're starting out with an ultimatum on day one. You are basically giving any man that's just wanting to get to know you an ultimatum of it's at least 3 calendar months before I'm even going to consider being intimate with you. And that's just ridiculous. You know what would make sense for a woman to say that? When she's a virgin.
Mhm.
Because then that man can't say, well, you let me that, or you let me that, or you let Beauty do it. Why do I? I don't even know you.
Now, here's the thing. If a man isn't looking for anything serious with you, your 90-day rule doesn't matter.
Mm-mm. That's my second point was going to be.
Okay, well, go ahead, babe.
I guarantee you that rule came from someone who is one of them, like, will make a video at the gym talking about you staring at me type of women. This imagined demand, want, lustful. Like, there's not dudes actually formally asking you out on dates. You know what I mean?
I don't. What does that mean?
A woman with mad dating options is not imposing no 90-day rule.
Well, that was the idea around the 90-day rule in Steve Harvey's book, is that you
Who is Steve Harvey?
A comedian and a talk show host. Okay, and
a panderer.
And Lori Harvey's stepdaddy.
He's a funny guy, but he's a panderer. Like a lot of funny guys pander.
Well, a lot of women thought that it was a great idea. And again, it was often women who did have a lot of dating options. So women like myself, I have a lot of dating options. I've got to weed through the pool of dating options. So if I institute a 90-day rule, especially if you've been loosey-goosey before with your pum-pum, right? Your punani was a little loosey-goosey, and now you're like, no man's taking me seriously. So to make a man take me seriously, he's going to have to, wait 90 days. Or at least we've moved into a serious dating relationship before he gets the punani.
I'm sorry, even from you, it was almost like
wow. I know.
I swear to God.
I saw your face. I'm like, Ali, wow.
I don't even know what you was talking about, to be honest with you. I'm like, I think my point made way more sense to them than whatever she was talking about.
But I was telling you from the woman's perspective. This is why.
That's why y'all should not listen to yourselves about certain stuff. Like nothing man related. You should. Jesus. You proving my points.
Okay, well, there's a gentleman, and listen, there are gentlemen, not this gentleman in the clip I'm about to play, but there are gentlemen who are now saying they're going to institute their own 90-day rule in dating. And so I'm going to let...
Before we get to the clip, though, why is there so many women mad at men?
I don't know, Roberto.
Because men don't care what y'all think. You heard it here live. Sorry to let the cat out the bag.
And why is that?
We care when it comes to like being a man, being respected.
Yeah.
We only care about that from other men because that's who's going to run up in the house.
Correct.
So no man really cares if a woman thinks he's a good man or not, except for his woman.
Got it.
He cares about his woman.
But women overall.
The peanut gallery, he don't give a fuck about what y'all talking about.
But he wants respect
from other men. That's why we
especially other men you admire, right?
Especially other men that are respected.
Correct. And women should feel the same way.
Why y'all don't understand that about us? Y'all really think we care what y'all think?
Well, I don't think you.
I mean, I love you, actually.
No, I know.
I don't care what you think. Like, not about every single thing. Like, and I'm not saying it's so rude like that, but again, you're a female. You can, like, you and Danny be sometime meandering and just chowing and word salading, and I'd be like, well, you don't be doing that. Like, if a dude just get to talking and just not making no sense, it's like some guy is gonna tell him to shut up. Like, Earl, you just talking.
Well, you play by a different set of rules than we do. Hence why I'm
And
about
it's
to
not
play
rude.
the clip
Yes,
so
it's
you
not
can
rude,
stop
it's
yaga,
not
yaga,
being
yagaing. And
Yeah, let's
so
go.
this is the man's version of the 90-day rule.
I'm very curious for this.
I hear a woman say, make a man wait 90 days before you have sex. If I said, okay, then you need to wait 90 days before he takes you out on a date. You need to wait 90 days before he spends a single dollar on you. You need to go ahead and talk to him every day or however often for 90 days before he decides to invest in you as you are going to be invested in him. For a man to vet you, it is the standard to spend money. Okay? For me to get your time, I have to spend money somewhere. In most cases, I gotta take you on a Capitol Grill. That's gonna cost money. I gotta take you at a place that you deem is valuable for you to sit at. Right, which is going to cost me money instead of saying, hey, you know what? The realistic thing is, if we just sat here and talked to each other for 90 days, and I'm like, okay, cool. If I FaceTime you, I can't FaceTime you more than, once or twice a week unless I had actually started to invest money in you for 90 days. I'm wrong. So I'm not saying that your box is in exchange for money. What I'm saying is that for me to actually get your time, I have to spend money. But yeah, I can spend your money and get your time, but never get nothing out of it. It's not fair to a man.
He go smash that one, man. Like, and you gotta really listen to what he was saying, like how he was breaking it down, though.
Still break it down for
what
you.
What he said was, again, cool. Then if you're not gonna ask for nothing from me, then let's just talk on the phone for 90 days. Then let's just get to know each other.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Because if the idea around it is I need to get to know you to be comfortable to give you my punane, then how does going to dinner at Capitol Grill or Morton's or Red Lobster, Nobu, any of those places mean that I get to know you better?
We got some commentary going on, clearly.
So Sorlin Sage, our sponsor, is on, and we've got our Sorlin Sage products. We'll talk about them later.
Yes.
Sorlin Sage said he isn't wrong if everyone would just take time and get to know each other without the trappings of superficiality. We would be better off.
I agree, but you're wishing and washing, and you know why that's impossible?
Why?
Because it's always going to be too many women willing to do something strange for a piece of change. Let's be real about it. If women in mass said 90-day rule, it would be back to old traditional ways.
I do agree with that.
And we wouldn't be tripping about it.
I would agree with that.
But you can't be talking about 90 days. Like I said, if you're a woman that don't need a man, then don't need nothing from a man at all. Nothing. When your nasty toilet get clogged up because you don't know how to dispose of your stuff right, don't call no man, because that's when you call a plumber, that's who's going to come through the door.
Yeah, agreed.
If all of that, I don't need no man, then don't need nothing from a man.
Our sponsor says Robert. And she says, women too willingly, quote of the day, women too willingly do something strange for a piece of change, quote of the day.
That's why the 90-day rule is invalid.
And I agree with you, because I could institute a 90-day rule, but 6 other women that he's talking to are willing to give it up after Capitol Grill.
Rule.
Oh, girl, not a 2-hour rule. These girls have a 2-hour rule. I'm sure you know. Robert knows a whole lot about 2-hour rules.
It's whatever. 2, 5, like I said, whatever long you
need
to take to get to know that man, whatever you need to get to know out of him, what about him, whatever, you need to do that before you sleep with him. So you're talking that 90 days, that cool, but don't be expecting him to give you 90 days of look, man, trial periods is 30 days.
Some nowadays it's 14 and 7.
You can't even get Hulu for more than 30 days.
I think it's 7 days
coughing
now.
Up some bread, so get out of here.
We have a 14-day trial of YouTube TV.
Yeah, man, come on, man. Where you get 90 days these days?
It's a probationary period.
Get the hell out of here. Anyhow.
Yeah, you're not about it. Listen, he is not about, and I get it.
Dating rule. It's invalid. It makes no sense. All you're doing is alienating the few men that's actually pursuing you.
So what would you suggest to women who are like, okay, well, how do I guarantee that he's here for the right reasons? Just laugh at me as you're thinking about that. Sorlin Sage says, listen, I just signed up for a new app and it was a 7-day trial. Facts.
Facts. What you say guaranteed? Like, like even U.S. bearer bonds got like a certain amount of default risk. Like everything got risk. Like stop with the guarantees.
So there's nothing that we could do.
No, I know y'all love guarantees or imaginary guarantees. That's why y'all get duped into so much shit.
Robert.
Because he guaranteed you something.
Robert.
Mm-hmm. That's why you're mad at men now, because the man guaranteed you some shit and ain't delivered.
Robert. I don't control anything he says, guys. He does his
I can
own.
laugh at this topic.
He
all
does
day
his
long.
own
There's
thing.
those
And
stupid things that women do to try to guarantee that men are virtuous, I guess.
so
Like,
you're just listen. We're taking a chance with everything. Is basically
why
what we're
don't
saying.
y'all look at it like a good thing that he wants to sleep with you?
Oh.
Why is that? Why is he trying to hurt you or take advantage of you or do something bad to you? That's the rapist, right? Who is? You can't use that word on YouTube. My
No,
bad.
you can't.
That's
It's
the
rapey.
great. That's great. The fact that he wants to have sex with you is a very good thing. It's just, what else does he want to do with you? That's the question, isn't it? If he only wants to have sex with you, then yeah, you should have a problem with that. But if he wants to have sex with you and take you on dates and eventually move you into his house and all that, what is the problem?
But a lot of women feel like you need to get to that part first, right? Like it is crazy for some people to think we went from strangers to cohabitation in just 6 days over that 90 in 96
the vetting
days.
process was really real, and then it was not all about like shooty wada wada doo 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 doo.
No, we went in seriously, not shooty wabba wabba.
Like all that, like I love you.
We had real conversations. Yes, we had real
it's all
conversations.
that, yo, man. It's like, why does one company merge with another company? Due diligence. Like there's like, hey, you do this, you make peanut butter, we make jelly. Let's come together with the bread company and make sandwiches.
And let's all
or come together and make a bread company and make sandwiches.
Yeah.
But that's why is that a insane ideology to take into your dating personal life? It's funny, like I don't really feel like you just. It's like, remember, tell the story about what you said, Odie, about taking to the daycare, and they was like, oh, do you want your kids to be happy or successful?
Oh yeah, so yeah, my best friend was going into motherhood for the second time after like a 23-year. Actually, it's my nephew's birthday tomorrow. Like a 23-year gap, right? She'd had my niece when she was much younger, and now she was having my nephew, and she's at a parenting class. Now, my best friend's a lawyer, and the people in this parenting class are fairly upper echelon people. And this lady was talking about basically if they wanted their children to be happy or successful. And I'm like, you're talking to a bunch of like lawyers, doctors, engineers, people who actually went, got post-grads, spent years in school after finishing school, then went and had to article or intern or something and asking them if they want happy or successful children. They want successful children, and they'll no longer want to see you because you're full of crap, right? Like, it was one of those
like
things that is stupid.
Like it is.
If my child is successful, she'll be happy.
I think as an individual, you should ask yourself that for real. Like, do you want to be happy in a relationship, or do you want to be successful in a relationship?
Oh, here I go again. I can't deal with this thing.
Why do you keep messing?
Because I need to. Sorry, guys. This I've got the worst mouse pad and mouse. And I'm also the worst.
Thank you. Just
hush.
Thank you. You act like this.
You can just have my back.
It's not about having back. No.
Jesus, Father.
This is about, again, we live what we talk, don't we?
Like, you just need to have my back and be like.
So she can hold me accountable all she wants to, but when I actually enforce some accountability back on her, it's always like, why don't you love me?
Just have my back. Damn.
And that's kind of that's how y'all are. And that's a great example, actually, as is the way you told that story, like with all the extra details. You're so different. I almost told the story before I even told you to tell the story. Like, but the point of the matter is, like, really, do you want to be happy in a relationship, or do you want to be successful in a relationship? Because if you want to be happy in a relationship, I'm almost like they got another. Then be with somebody else that just wants to be happy, and I think that
That won't be a very long
like, but where do you
relationship.
24/7 find? That's like sunny day, not perpetual sunny days. Like
That's not
the
even
sun
possible.
never sets. Like
That's an
that's
impossible
like it's
relationship.
always. It never rains. Like that's just ridiculous.
Again, as I was saying, that's an impossible relationship to maintain.
How in the hell, if you can't be happy 24/7 by yourself, do you expect to get into a relationship and be happy? That math ain't mathing.
It isn't mathing. So I'm gonna move on to another. So
Okay.
Rob is now
Yeah,
knowing
I pretty
about the
much
90-day
shredded the
rule.
90-day rule. Like that's
And
trash.
and thank you, Rico Hondo. That's the gentleman's name.
Killed
That
it.
show was tonight's conversation.
Killed it.
He also was on 8 at the Table. He's
Killed
a
it.
young man who seems to have his head on his shoulder. The women don't always often like his opinion,
Spit that
but
game right
if young men all felt that way, we would be better. Our daughters will be better off.
there. Or if all of y'all said 90 days.
Again, well, as a collective, women are never going to do that.
Thank you.
Because how are we
Just
gonna
like men
how
as
we
a
gonna how we
collective,
get
they
how
never
they're
do
gonna get
nothing.
to be Future's baby mama if they're making Future wait 90 days? It's impossible.
It's just like same as with men. So like, let's be realistic about this dating world. Like guarantees and 100 proofs and bulletproofs. Like,
Not
man,
bullet-
like you tripping. Like you can't do nothing like that in your life by yourself. Why you expect that in a relationship?
Facts. Okay, so let's go to what you would call another stupid day,
Dating
stupid rule, dating rule. Let me throw one out there. You should play hard to get. A woman should play hard to get to get a man to be interested in her. And so even if she is only interested in him and she doesn't have any other prospects and she really wants to be with him, she shouldn't let him know that. She should not accept dates like the first date on a weekend. She gives him a weekday because a weekend she wants him to think she's out there like killing it, right, on her other dates. So give him a Tuesday or Wednesday, like a midweek, not too busy on those days. You're literally giving me the word. This is a real thing. So I'm saying, like, I'm describing it to you because you were a hoe and you don't know these rules.
No, it's not about no hoe.
These women were not
don't play
waiting
me
2
like that.
hours for.
No, I'm not saying like that's just throwing that out there like that. And on top of that, I'm just like, look, all of these, anything that makes it more difficult for a man to know you that wants to get to know you, that's dumb. But again, you want to like set it's always like reality is supposed to understand the men that you like versus the men you don't like. You only want to be approached by men that you like. You don't want to be approached by any men that you don't like. And like the universe doesn't care about you that much. You're only going to be approached by men that are attracted to you. And sometimes they're going to be guys that you like. And sometimes they're going to be guys that you don't like. Now, if you find that the ratio of guys that you don't like are approaching you is exceedingly high, maybe the problem is you. Either your standards are too high or you're giving off an energy that I don't think you're wanting to give off. Would that be fair to say?
I would agree. I can't, if there is something going on with respect to, I want a established, educated, refined, goes to gala, goes to conferences and networking events and all of that. And all I'm getting are, as you Americans call them, pookies and ray-rays. My pheromones are off. Right, that's what we emit to attract men. Right, there's something.
Or that's what you're in the most proximity to, or whatever. All of the above, a mixture of the 2 or 3, and all them combinations. But so maybe it again, at some point you got to look at yourself. And I don't care what your gender identification is, male, female, or any other variation of the. You know what I mean? But like, you gotta look at yourself sometimes.
So
sometimes.
So let me ask you this. I'm going to reverse it. A woman fears coming off too thirsty or desperate to a man she likes. And so hold on. And so playing hard to get is a way for him to chase her because he thinks, because again, we hear the messages that men are competitive and you're going to compete for a woman. Like no man wants a woman that other men don't want, right? Like you very much, we've talked about that. If you were the only man that wanted me, like what is the purpose? And so in her mind, playing hard to get is showing the men that she's desirable to other men. I wish you guys could actually see a better close-up of his face.
That
'Cause
logic is not logic. It just doesn't make any sense because again, because something ain't adding up. If the guy you like, you got to go through all of these tactics for him. Like, why isn't he just why isn't him just asking you out on a date enough? Well, you're playing all this shit in your head, and this man ain't thinking about you. How many women have been with men that he wasn't thinking about you until you jumped up in his face and he was like, oh, well,
I guess you're
I wasn't thinking
available.
about chicken nuggets, but since some are in front of me, I sure will.
I'm going to go back to what you actually just said. Why isn't him asking you out enough? Because he put enough thought into asking you out.
Did you ever think maybe he's being sincere?
Now, again, the preface is you weren't the woman who threw yourself at him, right? Because there's ways to, we've talked about it. There's ways
Make
to get a
yourself
man's
appear
attention.
available,
Exactly.
to
Exactly.
like, like, yo, I'm feeling you, brother. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, but you ain't got a thirst trap to do that.
And so a man,
And if you're, but again, how many women is that not enough?
just a man
Because
asking
if
them out.
no, just giving choosing signals. Because a lot of y'all, let's be real, y'all give choosing signals.
And you're not chosen.
They go right over dude's head.
Because he wasn't interested in it.
He don't want you.
And that's tough for a lot of women.
It is very hard to accept, but that's life, man. We deal with it in abundance.
That is hard for.
He doesn't want you like that, sis.
That is very difficult for women to go out, give all the choosing
I could
signals,
care
and
less.
still don't get chosen.
Because, and that's where again the breakdown in our community comes from, because there's too many women that don't have a man that's not a potential want something from you. Like, you don't, there's too many women without brothers, without fathers, without uncles. Like a man is just gonna tell you, like, yo, this dude don't like, why is you
in his face?
Why is you in his face? Like, and that's from little. Again, that's like with a man around, like let him catch his little niece staring at it. Get out of his face.
Yeah.
That's a rudimentary lesson. Like, get out that man's face. What the hell is wrong with you? Because you working on your little junior choosing signals and all that shit. And sit your fast ass down somewhere.
I hear junior choosing signals. I hear you.
But not enough women get that.
I get it.
So they think that any man that they want, most women can have most men that they want. Sexually.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's it. That's why I said you need to see if that's the only thing he wants from you. Because there's a lot of y'all having sex with a man that wouldn't be dead seen with you.
Oh. Sorry, I had to say a little prayer for those women. That is a reality, though. And so all of
Stop what you're doing.
All of these dating rules and these playing hard to get doesn't matter if the man didn't want to get you anyways. He doesn't want
I think that, man, that's like some real, like that's, and again, I think that's kind of the challenge for fellas to step back up and stop with this nonsense telling you, pandering and Steve Harvey and think like a man. Why are you telling her some dumbass shit like that, man? Like, she can't. She's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
She cannot think like a man.
Mm-hmm.
She needs to think like a damn woman and tighten that up, and she'll get a better man.
Oh, Shondo. You just said there's a lot. Hallelujah.
You gotta sell a book like that when it's a bunch of women running around in masculine energy.
Absolutely.
Now you just running around with all these, like, oh, like I said, and then we got the flip. We got a lot of males running around with male physicality and a female's emotion.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Thinking like little women and shit.
Oh. Shondo, once again. Now, before we go on to the third dating rule, it's interesting because you can combine both the 90-day rule and this playing hard to get rule, because the reality is if you are actually taking the time that he was giving you, because it's about time, right? Like, here's the thing. I think what's interesting
Facts.
about these 90-day rules and the playing hard to get, the most valuable asset that we have is time, right? It's the most valuable thing we have. Women choose to, what we choose to do with our time as women is very different often than what men choose to do with their time. We value our punani in a relationship. A man values his time. And so most men are not going to spend the time to ask you out, get ready, pick up on a date, go to the barber shop for a woman that he isn't interested. Now, the man who is your sneaky link that's creeping in, who's calling you after midnight, he's made it very clear his intentions with you. This is what we're about. But the man who's going to the barber shop and sweet up in his cologne and his Dolce and all of that, and picking you up and doing all that stuff and investing his time and sitting down with you for 2 hours, he's showing you, if you do what I'm looking for in a woman, you could be my woman. Am I right on that?
Pretty much, but he's gonna have requirements, and he's in the only reason he's doing that is because he thinks that you're worth that. And if he finds out that you're not, that you the little neighborhood hoe, like he's gonna dump you like a bad habit. Am I lying?
Mhm.
But that's what I'm saying. It all comes in a circle, back in a circle. Like your little hot girl summer might have cost you more than you realize. Because that dude that was really feeling you, now he found out like all the dudes he played pickup with done smashed. And it's like, oh shit. Damn. Like one, maybe two, okay. You know, it's like 10, 15 guys that pick up. But when like 6 or 7 dudes that pick up and hit, it's kind of like, oh, I know what she about. Why am I gonna take you to Ruth Chris? Earl told me about the back of the Tahoe.
Oh, again, I do not control anything he says. I have no control over the words that come out of his mouth. Okay, so now let's go to another dating rule because I want to hear your thoughts on it. Because you know my thoughts, you know how I feel. Now I treat you because you're my man, but I think you know where I'm going. What about the man should pay for at least the first date rule? What about this idea that the man pays for the first date?
That's where it gets tricky because yes, the overall general no context answer is yes, but when you have women that just be talking about, you know, dating for meals and like, you know, throwing up on social media, I'm hungry, somebody like first one to cash at me is I don't know. But like again, when it's really that, then sure. You know what I'm saying? If you genuinely interested in that man, then yes, let him impress you. That's what he want to do.
Okay.
Show you what life with me would be like. And again, you're always dealing with the best version of that man per se, but a man that really, and again, he's not feeling that, but he's a lot closer than you are off of the first date.
In terms of?
Because we visual, so he's like, you check all the boxes right off the rip. So now it's, are you palatable or not?
Oh.
And the more palatable you are, the more feelings he can develop for you.
I got that.
But when you 90 days right off the rip, that's not palatable.
You already eliminating yourself, you feel.
I'm like, I don't want nothing.
So going back to that's like, we're gonna bring it all together. So you're now on this first date. So we've got, again, the first date has happened. You're sitting down, like you always say, you should find out everything you need to find out from a man before you give him your punani, right? Whatever it is you need to find out. If you need to get his STI test, you need to find about his criminal record, if you have background check, whatever you need, you find out. And that can take 5 hours, it can take 5 days, it can take 5 weeks, whatever it is that you need. But now you're on this date, this man is giving you his time. Isn't that the time now to ask those informations to either, one, to qualify him for you, and to impress him if you want more of him?
Yeah, in general, that's what I want to keep saying, like in general, but it all comes down to like, is this a man that's genuinely into you, or is this somebody you've been all up in their face?
Well, let's assume
yes, then
he's
it's-
courting her. He's done the thing. He's
And
asked her out.
Really
He's-
identify her as someone, as like someone I really would like to be with, would like to try something with, would like to court formally, or informally, however you want to look. Because every dude believes in a formal courtship, whether y'all want to admit it or not. Like, yo, stop listening to some of these rap guys. They are not the truth tellers that they would like you to believe that they are. If you pay attention to current events and a lot of what's going on out here, like these dudes are not like the
bar should not be set on a
should
low,
not
baby.
be the moral trendsetters. Like, fashion, cool. Sound, cool. Anything outside of that, you might be asking too much. I'm just saying. But yes, I think that when a man has got genuine interest in you, like, why are you making it difficult for him? That's what it all comes down to. All them stupid dating rules, all of that other stuff, all of that. Like, where the I'm a prize attitude comes from? Women making money. But you're not going to take care of him the way he's going to take care of you. So what are you talking about? You're not the prize. Because you're not going to take care of him the way he's going to take care of you. And if I'm going to leave it there, I'm not even going to get into some of them when those things go wrong, because that's your own personal experience and that's your business. You saw all that potential, and Bill Parcells said potential ain't nothing but shit you ain't done yet.
Facts. Okay, let's move on to another dating rule. So now we've gotten to the first date.
Okay, we got through the first date. Is there a second date?
Is
you
there-
play yourself or?
Correct, because to me the first date is
Is
interview.
he really thirsty? Is he really? But like, that's what I'm saying. You should know if you respect this man, if you feeling this man. Like, now you definitely should know. Like, how did he treat you on the date? How did he? All of the things that you're attracted to, you should know more of that now. And it ain't even got to be on no sexual tip or nothing like that. I don't care how charismatic he is.
So
There's nothing wrong with telling him, like, yo, you got game. No.
Oh,
maybe next date.
But I'm gonna take it there. So I'm gonna ask you that. Do most men lose respect for a woman if she has sex with them on a first date? Because there is a rule: do not have sex on the first date, right?
That's a tricky ass question, but I will answer it the best of my ability. He doesn't lose respect for you. Why would he lose respect for someone that gave him some buns? But he is not taking you as serious as if he would. Would you treat $100,000 car the same way you would treat a $5,000 car?
No.
No one on earth would they?
No.
So you kind of played yourself. I don't care how charismatic he was. I don't like if you've already got it. Like, and courtship can be okay. Y'all done talked the whole week leading up to the date.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, then, again, he's more invested. He done invested like 12 hours of phone talking. He ain't into that shit. He don't talk with his homeboys like that. About business, chopping. Did you do this? Keep it moving. And he could be one of them on the phone all day, dudes with different people about different things, keeping it moving. Like, if he's investing 45-minute, hour and 15-minute, hour 30-minute conversation, yeah, he's trying to get to know you. He's trying to see what makes you tick.
So does that change your answer? So the man who prior to the first date has invested several hours to get to know you, you guys are getting to know things, you get to the first date, it's another 2.5 hour date. You've had that time, there's chemistry, you guys are talking about certain things. Does that matter? Is that different versus the guy who asked you out, you set the date, the time and the place and whatever, and that's all you've done?
Like, you all on his dick. Like, let's just keep it 100. And you like, oh, he wanted me. Like, you made it so obvious that why wouldn't he want you?
Well, Princess Shelley Love is on. Hey, Shelley. She's saying women keep hearing to keep body count low.
That's a thing you should be very aware of. One, I totally understand that philosophy, but I also think, like, I don't even like that's the whole concept that done, like, everybody's off the wall with this body count concept. The fact that it's even something that we got to conceptualize. And it's like, look, man, we in our 40s. Our body count is going to be beyond what these 20-year-olds is talking about anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's a
'Cause it's-
conversation you and I have never even had.
not
Like we've
even-
never,
it-
we don't know each other's
it
number, and we
doesn't even-
don't care.
It doesn't. It's just I don't. I get when you're in your 20s, like or now that everything is public and there's like stamps on everything, but like that was just conceptually to some of the shit I'm dealing with now in my later life. I'm like, I don't even. This is stuff I never even thought about or was worried about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but now we live truly in like a global world. Like yo, so. I get trying to minimize, how many failed relationships you have, how many dudes you done hooked up with, especially as a woman. But again, let's be real. It's competing agendas. Men trying to get their body count high, women trying to keep it low. And
But in order to get the men you want,
changing a bit too, because I think men are not feeling women as much as they used to.
and I think that's what it comes down to.
I'm just
Men
saying for real,
are,
just in general.
and I won't say they are turned off by some of our behavior. Sorlin Sage says, in this big age, I got asked my body count once. No, thank you.
Yeah.
We did not. We got together at 40 and 43.
Yeah,
We're not asking each other after
millennial question.
Marriages and children, and no.
It doesn't even and we wasn't sitting around. Again,
Count, carry the one
difference to it,
over to the two.
I'm speaking from my own experience a bit here.
What is in the world?
Like to me, the trying to get girls and all that, it was like because there was a quality to those girls. You feel me? Like if it was just the town smuts, like I was not pursuing that.
Got it.
Like I wasn't trying to line up I got 100 bodies last summer of twos. Like 5 twos don't make no 10. That math ain't mathing, brothers. Like stop it. But if you were damn 5, what are you talking about? Your body count. Like and you broke. Like you ain't talking about bro. I'm like you ain't done nothing to even be talking about a woman should be checking for you.
Yeah,
get out of here, man. We that's changing the conversation around.
So you feel like you gotta be a man needs to be qualified to be talking about he cares about a woman's body count. If you have nothing to give a woman and here's the thing. This is what I've said. A lot of men who have a lot to lose are getting with women who will help them lose that, right? And that's the issue, right? Stop getting with women who have nothing to lose but will help you lose everything. So I get when a man has something to lose and he has to look out for the type of woman he becomes interdependent with. But some of these guys on these shows talk about a woman's got a low body count. Sir, you needed to ask your mom to borrow her car to get to the studio. Like you're not in the place to qualify to talk about what a woman should and should not be doing with her body.
Yeah,
now,
on both sides, there's a lot of irrelevant arguments going on of people that ain't nobody really even checking for you like that. That's remember when you used to have talent to be a celebrity?
And then there was the Kardashians.
Yeah, wherever it started. Now we can't even agree on the meaning of most words anymore.
We cannot.
And I think I blame Trump for that. I'm sorry. That whole fake news energy.
It's true.
That whole fake news energy, not singling him out, but he made that major, man. The truth became irrelevant. And now we living in a world where the truth ain't even relevant no more. Okay, well, that's tricky as hell.
Well, getting back to, so now we've talked about the 90-day rule, playing hard to get, who should pay for a date, having sex on the first date.
What else you got? We might have a shorter show.
There's a lot of dating rules.
Yeah, I know. So there's a laundry list of rules that you ladies have, and they're all stupid.
So let me ask you, what dating rules, because I'm throwing out rules, what dating rules do men have?
Men are very different. It depends on that man's options. A man with more options is gonna demand more quality.
Go ahead.
And but he will also knock about anything down. In general, most men, if you just make it blatantly obvious to him, But then there's like your way out your league energy, like I don't know, that would give me, I would be saying way too much.
Moving on, because you're gonna go off on a tangent, and I feel it.
Yeah,
So
no, I was
Sorlin
like,
Sage has
yeah.
said one of the things also for, and this is not a rule, but this is sometimes an issue that people have in a relationship. And I guess men, this is something for a man.
That's
Give me a sec. Did you see what she
yeah,
asked?
see,
Okay.
that's relevant.
So just for everybody else, when to meet the family and what does it mean? So if you're introducing me to your family, I know for me and a lot of other women, they start questioning, okay, what does that mean? What does that mean if I'm meeting the mom and the father and so forth, right?
Again, we can speak generally because there's so many different contexts. It depends on what type of man you're talking about. Some dudes are players. They'll use their family to knock
I
more
agree.
chicks down.
I
Like
agree.
like if you really go talk to them, they ain't gonna snitch on him.
I agree.
Like they ain't really gonna tell you like that, but like you the third date come through this week.
Yeah, and that's
Hey
what,
girl, like
yeah, and that's why
and they
grandma be calling you
girl,
baby.
baby.
Hey,
They
baby.
can't remember your name.
They don't care to
If
learn
they
your
are
name.
excited to see you, that might be something different. Oh, he ain't never brought nobody through here like that. That's very different than, hey baby, how you doing? You want something to eat? And you bring mad chicks through there, like make you think you're doing something. You ain't doing nothing. And like his grandma ain't gonna remember you from them other 1,000 304s and back through there.
So that's the crazy part is there are a lot of us women who put a lot of stock on the fact that I'm meeting the family, the mom, the dad, the
What
uncle,
does it mean?
the
That's
best
for
friend.
you
What
to
does it
figure
mean?
out. You need to go ask Mima, how many girls you done brought through here?
Mima ain't gonna tell you.
She gonna say she don't lie to you either.
That's true.
You feel me?
That is true. She ain't gonna lie to you.
She ain't gonna lie to you. She's not gonna tell you no exact number,
But she gonna be like,
she gonna let you know her grandson.
You ain't the first one.
Girl, you are not even close.
Hey, Twinzing. So Sorlin Sage says, when I was younger, everybody met the family, not because of pressure, but because my mom wanted to identify who the effer was in case I went
As a
missing.
female, yeah, that's different. Like, but that's a buffer for a female. If you've got family, you've got people in your corner, they can kind of help smell out what brothers all around. And a lot of guys, if he really just trying to smash,
He ain't trying to come to meet the family.
Your family.
Yeah.
He ain't trying to do all that.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to even give that in like, oh, what's your intentions for my granddaughter?
Robert!
You can't tell her no shit like that.
Good night. Like I'm done.
Oh, this is fun.
So that's an interesting part. I actually like the reverse concept of, because that's something that is interesting where a woman then says, I'd like for you to meet my family. Because if he's not trying to take you serious,
my
he's
daughter,
like,
yeah, you gotta meet my dad. I don't like you like that. That weeds that out a little bit. Or I gotta come, okay, I put my little collar shirt
on, yeah, and go meet dad.
Yeah, because I really like you. Like, I don't want your dad, I can tell your dad, like, I got good intentions.
That's a good reverse psychology there a bit for women.
Guys ain't really gonna lie either. Like, he gonna lie to you, he ain't gonna lie to your daddy. That lying to another man is very different. Because another man might sock you in your goddamn face for lying to him.
Ooh. That's interesting. That might have been a Drops Mic moment.
Yeah, lying to a woman ain't the same as lying to another man.
Do you think, and I'm trying to walk this question, but I'm just gonna ask the question. Do you think that there are certain men who prey on women who they know don't have fathers?
Absolutely. 100%. A lot of y'all is big fat tunas swimming by yourself and don't even know it. That shark is like easy meal.
Sorlin Sage was saying meeting out of town family is a big deal, and I agree to that because all of my family was out of town, and Rob had to meet or FaceTime or like, video call or something.
I would say in general, women, the more people you legitimately got, not your little female terror squad, like your little buddies that rotate through. You ain't like, again, if you've known her for 20-some years, then, again, we're speaking of our age. Then okay. But that's your girlfriend from work. I don't give a fuck about what she thinks about me.
Now, going back to the preying on women, so that's an interesting concept because this is definitely going to be a clip. Women have to understand that having a man or a man group or a solid bunch of males in her life does make a difference with the quality of men she may attract or who stick around.
That's tricky because if that's got to be like familial.
Yes, a dad, an uncle, a brother, a cousin.
Not your quote unquote guy friend.
No,
really
I'm talking about
I'm
talking about a
just
family.
Yeah, you gotta have a real true support system. Like
Grandpa.
You need to work on your relationship with your guy cousins and your uncles, and because like they'll tell you for real about yourself.
Because I think it's funny because, watching the Kendra G show and, specifically Kendra G, rest in peace, Uncle Kevin. But there's a lot of women who give a lot of information in that show that says to any man, I don't have proper male figures. So prey on me. And it's hold on. And it's funny because I go to the comments and there are women who will say that was too much details to give. Find out if a man is interested in you and then maybe like uncover some of those layers. But off the bat, you're basically saying to men who are going to prey on you, she ain't got no solid men in her life. I can come in and say whatever and be good.
Dizzy. Yeah.
Oh, she said silly, dizzy.
Silly and dizzy and all of that. Yeah,
Ooh.
you gotta know what you got going on. And that's like, you can't be delusional with a brother.
Correct. I would agree.
I don't see you like them dudes see you. I don't see you how you see yourself.
Yeah.
I see you as your brother who knew you when you stank when you were 6 and 12 and 26 and 36 now.
Mm-hmm.
So while you might think you poop diamonds,
I
know better.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you about yourself a little bit because I do know you and I do love you. You can't argue with me that I don't love you. That's familial male relationship. Or he going to tell you about yourself, the real truth. You're not as pretty as you think you are. Mm-hmm. You're not as this. You're not as that.
You should
that delusion starts going
when you got a brother or uncle or daddy or
and
grandpa.
I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm trying to be real to you so you can be better in life.
Correct. Because your family's going to give you the real.
Your granddad would light a lot of this crap up, but he dead, jail. We got a lot going on in our communities, man.
So, and it's interesting because I feel like family dynamics is a conversation that should be had on the first date.
Everything. It's kind of sets the stage for everything because the more dysfunction in your personal family, the more you got to figure out in life on your own.
So do you think it mattered? Because, one of the people who was the highlight of my life was my daddy, rest in peace, daddy. And I know for us, I'm sure I brought up my daddy 65 million times as we got to know each other.
Right.
Did that matter? That I clearly had a close relationship with my dad?
Because, like, again, it's twofold almost. It's not only, you don't have a man that's kind of been realistic with you, unless you're like, again, Steve Harvey, where you just, the world's going to be an oyster and spit open for you, girl, and I'm not going to never tell you nothing. But again, send them spoiled women out into the world to ruin whatever. Anyhow, back on a tangent is like, he's going to be real with you ultimately. Like
but for you as a man, knowing that I had a good relationship with my father,
at that point, of course, because it's like,
and had a father that I knew,
twofold in that it says that you have had some real truth brought to you on some certain level, and it also says that you understand how a man, like, because again, your granddad is not going to curb his behavior around you. Your dad is not going to curb his behavior around you. Your brother is not going to curb his behavior around you. You ain't nothing but his sister, his daughter, his granddaughter. So like you're almost like you don't count. And when I said men don't care about what you think, that's when you really get the experience. That's when you really get to live in the space that you're gonna be with any man. Yeah, because they give you the real. They're gonna give you the real.
But all of the fakeness that you've got to uncover. Yeah.
So it's both sides of it. Like I know you know not to expect. Like that's why you Robert and like that's women. It's like I can't control this man. Like we're talking on the show the other night. Like send me where? What are you talking about? You can't send me nowhere. Like and that's not being disrespectful to her. Like what is wrong with y'all? That's being disrespectful to me to think that.
Well, they don't have the context, babe. So you started
Right.
going on a
No, no, no,
tangent
no.
for
But you
people
know
who
what?
don't have a
Yeah.
context
But
about what
it
you're
has no
talking
context. But
about.
they will understand what the word "send me."
Yeah, well, I
You
can't
feel
send
me?
you anywhere.
Like no more than I can make you do anything. You submission, willful cooperation. The keyword's willful.
And I
She
think,
has to want to do what I want her to do.
and that's in a relationship, period. So all of these rules are stopping people from naturally
Getting the
getting
experience
together.
and getting to know each other because you got all these rules and now you're pigeonholing them, or it's like a lot of what education in America has become teach to test. Like these kids can pass a
They're my
damn test,
idiot.
but they don't know nothing.
They're my idiot.
It's not an ABCD question.
So that's interesting. Okay. So this is not much of a dating rule, but it's changing a bit of tradition. There are people who will say that the old tradition of a man asking a woman to marry him needs to change. That women, we can be bold and get down on our knees and ask you men to go off with us
I
into
swear
life.
we covered to get out his face. Topic already. Get out that man face.
But we're strong and independent
Isn't
now.
that like an ultimatum? Isn't that kind of like bullying? Isn't that kind of like if he wanted to propose, if he wanted to marry you, he'd ask you, right? Like, isn't that just how it's supposed to go? Isn't that kind of like take a poop or get off the pot type of energy?
I agree. I agree. I could never see myself getting on any. I would have never asked you to
Isn't
marry
that
me.
yeah? Isn't
No,
that just kind of that's kind of
no,
like
it's a
I'm gonna
no.
make him do something?
It's a no for me, dog.
I worked with a chick once. She booked a place for a wedding reception before she was engaged. I was like, I feel bad for that man.
Was she in a relationship though?
Before she was in a relationship.
Oh,
That's why I said I feel bad for
oh, you
that
said
man.
engaged, but I thought maybe
Yeah,
she
that's
was
what
in a
I mean.
relationship.
No, before she had a boyfriend or anything. Like it's just I'm getting married in a year.
Oh, in a year, she'd be like, put actual money down. Oh, she believes in manifestation
She
on
was
a
on a
whole
mission.
different level. So
She was
Sorlin
on a
Sage
mission.
says, I am never asking a man to marry me ever. Never. It's manipulation.
Don't,
There's no way.
Like you that DJ Khaled meme, you played yourself. Like you're playing yourself. You're doing that. You're playing yourself. Like what perspective he had for you is minimized even more so now because like don't you think if I wanted to marry you, I would? Like I've been drinking milk for years. It's not like you're gonna get some. What is the benefit? What
Of
would
me
it change?
asking.
What would change? And again, unfortunately, and that's what happens when you get with guys in a certain level. Like, what would change? Yeah, y'all ain't built nothing. Y'all ain't built no. Like again, who really got to give that energy? You know what I'm saying? Is y'all just been spinning the wheels in the circle? 5 years later, just the kids getting older. You know, but it's not like life is moving and progressing. Like again, marriage makes sense when you got assets and you building and you know what I mean?
Okay. We're gonna do a couple more. And I do actually have the question bowl tonight.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
so
so
proud
spend
of
some time with the
myself.
question bowl.
I'm so proud of
Then I
myself. I have
want
the
to eat.
question
I'm
for
really hungry.
I know, because I already cooked dinner. I just have to make the salad. What about the rule that until you get into a relationship, you should date multiple people at once?
That's again. We remember how earlier I was saying what are words don't mean nothing. Like dating. What is dating?
Yeah, I was just to say, us old folks in our 40s, like dating for us was very different than dating for
like
these
talking
kids
on
these
the
days.
phone to multiple guys, going to dinner with multiple guys, having sex with multiple guys. Like, what are we really talking about? Like, I would say that as a
And men too, men dating multiple
men
women.
too. Like, I think it done kind of caught up. Like, It depends on when you really what phase in life that man is or that woman is. But I would say in general, it's probably better if you want to have better information. I don't see how you can juggle two or three better than you could juggle one. Um, that's kind of how I look at it, though, in general, especially these days where the quality of people is so varied. Like, you know what I mean? You can get a complete turd. I mean, let's be real. Like, you know,
Because there are people who say, okay, I
this
invest
world
six.
encourages bad behavior.
So, because there's a thing, I invest 6 weeks into you, I invest 8 weeks into you, I invest 12 weeks into you, and then nothing happens. And then I have to start again to find someone who I'm interested in. As at the same time, like again, I'm going on multiple dates a week with multiple people. I'm weeding people out.
I find like that just seems like you ignore red flags, though.
Oh,
You
You-
feel what I'm saying?
you feel that when you
I think again, like you said, it's so unfamiliar, like how we did things. But again, either you gonna be like you go through the process of getting to like either I have enough information or not, or either we're going to take it serious or we're not.
Yeah, yeah.
I think all of that other stuff is just like cap, that you just making up stuff. Because if you're like, and if you're not dating with intention, how dare you expect that the other person be? Like, you don't know what you're doing.
So I think that's the key to all of these. Because we're about to wrap this up in a second. That's the key to all of this. If you're dating with intention, you should throw out all of those
That
rules.
fixes a lot of this crap, doesn't it?
Now, this is where we go in. What does dating with intention look like for you as a man and from a woman that you're pursuing? So what did dating, the fact that I was intentional, how did I show?
Me,
Yeah,
like,
how did I
was,
show that I
again,
was intentional?
Well, I think I'm quickly ready to put into place what this situation is. Like, let's define this shit as quickly as possible.
Yes, we were
Are
very
we
quickly. Yeah, what are we doing?
Friends, casual, sex. What are we doing?
Yeah. Without me asking, ladies, what are we doing? I never had to ask.
Like the guy, as the guy, I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, what are we doing? I need to know so I'm not shifting no expectation, because I don't even feel like I need to be worrying about a certain level of shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's where we got more and there was more alignment and we just kept going. But again, either you're trying to take the shit serious or you're not. And yeah, but so that's where like all that casual, like hot girl summer, like, and honestly, even for the fellas a little bit, like some of that holding around men do is just, well, there's like pure sex, but there's also the like the chase, the pursuit, the wanting this girl to like you and all that other stuff. And it's like, let's be real, if it was like if you cut it but I ain't really digging you like that before sleeping with that woman, we would save a lot of heartache. But we have a need to have sex.
You have a need to have sex?
You know what I'm saying? So we can't expect a man to police his penis. Like he's gonna do that to the best of his ability, because it's too easy for us to say I like you enough to have sex. You feel me?
A stranger's like me enough to have sex with me.
Thank you.
I had a man follow me basically through whatever, and I had my ring on, and he was still saying, "Can we be friends?" I'm like, "Do you understand that the ring is almost like an F off? Like it's supposed to be a repellent."
We're wired differently. You know what I'm saying? Every top-notch man is going to be on that type of energy, but yes, there's guys that get up and button his pants and be like, "What's your name again?"
Mm-hmm. So women need to be very intentional
about how they throwing that cat. Yes. And because again, you don't throw your cat to no man you don't want to keep you. So why are you talking about you want to be doing all this other nonsense?
But that's the thing. A lot of women want to keep the wrong man.
Shrug the shoulders.
Well, pause, please. Just be quiet. Let me finish so you can hear what I'm saying. A lot of women want to keep the wrong man because he showed them all the right signs. A lot of our pickers are off because we all want the same man, right?
Yeah,
like
that just kind of made my like discombobulated me a little bit almost. I was like, that logic went a complete.
But do you
way
understand?
almost,
But do you
know what I'm
understand?
saying?
The
Like,
man's not right for her, but he's shown her all of the signals in her mind that
he's not
makes a
for
man.
you,
Thank you.
but he's
That makes
for
a man
someone.
eligible, right?
Yeah.
Again,
But he just
he's
don't take you that serious. Like there's nothing you're gonna do. Yo, okay, that's advice I would give to Danny.
what's the advice?
You shouldn't have to ask him what you are.
Oh, yes, I've always found
That's
that
a
weird.
trigger. That should be triggering to you. So what are we doing? Like,
Yeah,
you already know he ain't taking you serious. So why are you even asking him?
yeah,
Why are you
that's
putting him on the spot like that? You
I.
should know that because. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I've always found that because to me, like
when he
it's
wants you like that, he's
yeah,
letting you know.
yeah.
I want you like that.
Yeah, that's a difficult one because it puts you in a position of like, yeah, I've never had
Don't
to
lie
ask
to
a
me,
man.
like,
Yeah, I've never had to
Don't
ask a
lie
man
to me.
where we're going. It was always very much
You're the only one worried about it.
yeah, they've sat down and they wanted to be with me and mapped out a plan of what it would look like and what we would do and so forth. And that was good with me because why would I be putting I just it's not for me. Like it's not the what are we doing? And it's clear you're doing nothing.
I just whatever. It's like yeah.
I think if we have to ask, it means we're doing
you're
nothing.
playing yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's like proposing. You're playing yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
What are we?
Am I your girlfriend? Like, a lot of guys ain't got trapped into shit like that by saying yeah.
So basically, to sum these all up, Rob basically thinks all these dating rules are stupid, and I concur. He knew nothing about the 90-day rule until we even did this show. And so there are a lot of men who probably don't. And again, ladies, if men did a reverse 90-day rule and didn't spend a dime on you until they felt you were worth their time, a lot of the dating rules that we had would be stupid. And the key to basically finding a good partner is to date with intention. Be intentional about dating. And Rob said the 90-day rule would actually work if women collectively came together and said that was the case. Because again, women, we police morality. But if 10 of our sisters are like, no, I'll give you all of it in 90 seconds, the 90-day rule ain't gonna work. So that is basically my summarization. We're going to go back to our question bowl, which people often love. We're going to pick 3 questions each, and then we're going to sign off for the night.
Is a person talking too much about their ex, positive or negative, a red flag? Like, yeah, pretty much. Unless it's like, I'll just say pretty much like talking about any past relationship significantly. I don't even care if it's like kids involved and stuff like that. Like y'all can have the greatest relationship, but why are you always talking about your old girl to your new girl or your old man to your new man? Like that's just weird. Stop it.
I agree. It's one of 2 things. You need to be healed and you need more time to move on, or you shouldn't have left them in the first place.
You need to get back with them. One or the other, but they're on your mind a lot more. And it seems like, especially if you're talking of like, it's not, we from like a different era where like, that's the worst thing. That's so borderline disrespectful. Like, to be in somebody's company, all you're doing is talking about somebody else.
Yeah, that it's a no, ladies and gentlemen, don't do that. Here's my question. Is it wise to compete with your romantic partner? No, and why would you want to? Right? Like you came together, I would hope, because you had common interest and goals that you can motivate each other to move forward. So why would I be competing with you? We should be working together. We should be collaborating. Like
no I in team, dummies.
That's what the whole point of coming together,
There's
right?
No I in team. Like anyhow. Yeah, I agree. Whose responsibility is it in a relationship to ensure you are sexually satisfied? Ooh, that's a tricky answer.
I'm surprised you didn't answer that one quickly.
In general, it's kind of on the woman. Like that's kind of your spiel. Now, should you feel desired by your man? Should you? But again, you get to a certain point. I think you know those things. You know how to get him to want some. And if he's just going extended periods of not wanting none. Like some seem.
No, that's not really the aim of the question.
Oh.
Whose responsibility is to make sure a woman orgasms? I just didn't write the question that way. That's the gist of the
That's
question. That
even
is the
more
question
complicated.
you
It's
picked
still
up, right?
going
Like,
back on a woman of like, if he don't know how to, then how in the hell is he supposed to?
if he doesn't know how to make you orgasm,
If he doesn't do it naturally, don't you have to tell him how to do it?
you would hope so. But then there are a lot of people would say that men don't necessarily like bedroom critique.
What?
Yes, men don't like to be critiqued about their skills in the bedroom because it doesn't play to their ego. If I have to tell you how to touch my clit and do this and do that.
Are we for real right now?
No, there are some men who don't like bedroom critique.
Are we being for real right now? What is critique like? Left, right. I think there's been movies and comedies where it's like if you're trying to go drill sergeant direct, and I think there's a certain amount of isn't that a part of talking during sex anyway?
No, but that's
No,
not
no, I
during.
know,
I'm not talking about during. I'm talking
I-
about after it's done and a woman
I'm
isn't satisfied and she's
talking-
saying,
right, and I get all of that, but again, I'm like, you know, the men who like bedroom critique the least,
oh, who?
men who just smashing on you.
Oh.
What are you critiquing? Like, oh, like
I had no
yeah,
intentions to stay.
I ain't trying to impress you.
That was my thought too.
I'm
That was
not
exactly my
trying to impress you.
thought.
Like, if a man is trying, if that's his goal is to satisfy you, I would think he'd be making
He wants to be open to
it'll
it.
be both of y'all trying to get that done. But if he just wants to, like, he don't even look at you like that. That's like a relationship. Like, it's like you asking him to be his girlfriend or something like that. It's almost the same principle.
Yeah,
Like,
I
you
would
have to
agree.
beg him for an orgasm, like he don't care.
And again, I do think it is my responsibility to make sure that I orgasm, whether it's I'm communicating to you what I want prior to, after the event, to make sure that next time is better, or during the event, right? Like
and
I
let's be
can't.
real. Oh, you got on that topic. We can get to the next question, but and let's be real. One difference between men and women is 90% women, 10% men is y'all can be in a completely different headspace and be having like in a sexual situation. You know what I'm saying?
Elaborate. So I can
I
be mad.
think that women, no, not I'm not talking about interpersonally, but like women can be. There's certain women that they can just be thinking about bills and groceries.
Okay, while they're having relations.
Picking the kids up and all this
That's
other
terrible.
stuff. You know,
That's
I'm
gotta be
saying, for
horrible.
real, I've heard guys talking about this before. Like definitely, I've almost experienced it. Like it's like your head ain't
In the
game. So and that's a huge turnoff for a guy because he's kind of like then I completely feel like a creep. Like I'm like you're just being a sex doll or something like that, and no man wants to feel like that. So yeah, that's real weird if you're going through that, sis. Like maybe that's what you are is just to get a nut.
Moving on, because
Yeah.
you went somewhere completely different.
Sorry,
Is
that's kind of a long answer. Go ahead.
is love a feeling or a decision? It's a decision. I decide every day to continue to love you. Because again, we don't always feel happy and joyous, and the pheromones aren't always going and it's happy juices, right? Like I wake up every day and choose to love you. It is a choice. I make a choice every day that I'm going to love you, and I'm going to make a choice tomorrow to love you. Yes, the feeling is important. The feeling gets us there. The feeling gets us to the relationship. The feeling gets us there, but it doesn't keep us in a relationship. I have to decide every day and choose to love you. Do you have a different answer?
Mm-mm. I was thinking about this question you gave me because I was like,
Oh my God, so you weren't even paying attention.
I was, but I was just kind of.
You have ADD, so you definitely were not.
Sorry.
You definitely were not paying attention. Oh my God.
I was thinking about this question.
So Sterling Sage had to say being in love is a feeling. And as much as it's a feeling, I'm still going to stick with it. I choose to love him every day because that feeling can go, right? Like if you've ever taken a drug, cocaine, ecstasy, Molly, any of that stuff is great when you take it. It's amazing and you feel awesome and it's whatever. But that shit's gonna go. Just like that feeling could dwindle. So I'm choosing to love this man every day. And I know he chooses to love me every day because some days it's hard.
And honestly, a lot of what people call, what they think is love and feel like is love is a nice dopamine hit you get with strange and dangerous and new behavior.
Correct.
Let's be real.
That's why people can fall out
That
of love.
dopamine is a mug.
Sterling Sage, like before you go, she says, loving someone is a choice. Okay, so being in love is a feeling, loving someone is a choice. There we go.
Right. There we go. All right. True or false? A woman holding herself accountable makes her a pick me. Like, oh, geez, why did I get this one? That's why I said that thing. Like, why did I like, that's the stupidest vernacular to me in the world. Okay. Think of The Bachelor.
Okay.
So all 20 of them girls are pick-meshas?
Here's the thing. Pick me is a term I've only, to be honest, I did not hear the word pick me until I heard it in America. In Canada,
Isn't that
and
the
for all my
point?
Canadian people, maybe I was just not in the loop. But is pick me a thing back home? I don't think so. Like pick me was a thing that I heard, pick meshas and all those things, and I thought it was weird. And the issue is it seems to be a predominantly Black African American woman term. This idea that choosing signals, holding yourself accountable for your choices, agreeing with men, because I've been called a pick me, right? When I go on forums and I agree with statements that men make and say, ladies, that makes sense, whatever. They're like, you're just a pick me-sha. But I'm like, but I've already been chosen, so I'm good over here.
Yeah, that just kind of hit me. Like, I'm like, this. Yeah, there's a lot of women. Y'all spraying mace in a man's face and then talking about a real man. Wipe that mace out his face and he wouldn't take it like I don't care. He'd understand that I've just been hurt before and he'd fight through it. And oh, you spray mace on his face. He's like, fuck you, man. Like,
you're actually ridiculous. I do agree though.
Like, so that's what you're supposed to be giving off? Like, no, we'll take pick-me-sha. Please be pick-me-sha. Like, that's...
Yeah, and it's such a funny thing because most men are like, yes, give me pick-me-sha. Come on, I'll take you with me. And women are like, you can't
eat with me.
Yeah.
That's DMX. What are you, DMX?
Yeah, it's a weird concept to me. But it's a woman-said concept. And if you want other women, then follow the advice of other women. But I know. Yeah,
that's like women that rock real hard, overly aggressive male rap songs. It's like, yo, what is? That's my dog. Like,
very DMX. That's how I see it. Like a DMX,
oh, God.
a female
I
DMX.
don't want to be with DMX.
Yeah, it's a female DMX. Okay, last question. Should a person have to work for forgiveness? No. So I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna say why. Because forgiveness is a choice.
That's for you.
That is for you. And if Rob does something that has hurt me and I choose to forgive him, that is a choice that I have made based on what is going on with me. If he has to work for it, it means I haven't forgiven him. And we should probably separate because I'm actually probably going to make his life a living hell, and nobody wants to be walking around on eggshells in the relationship. And I feel like that's what that is. So again, because forgiveness is for you, not for the other person, I wouldn't want you going out of your way. Now I can forgive you and not stay with you, right? Mm-hmm. I can forgive you and say, you know what, you're forgiven, we're good, but I'm going to go my separate way. But if someone does something for you and you forgive them and you stay, we talked about this in a show. You got to let it go. And it's almost like you're starting a brand new relationship. You cannot hold on to that because it's like it's handicapping your relationship.
And that's sincerely, if that person is sincere, like again, they want to be forgiven, they want to work it out, then sincerely, there's nothing you can do to them that they not already feeling. Like they know they messed. Like there's nothing like being a person where you know you messed up.
No.
That's like missing a game winner for me or something like that. Like your teammates ain't got to say, "Oh man, we would have won if you did that." Yeah, no. Like I know that already. Like nobody's taking that harder than me.
Yeah, I agree. So I think again, forgiveness is, and it's a big word and it's a big ask, but it's a choice,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
It's a
And if
choice
you ain't
you
cut
make.
for it, then
Then let it go and
dead
let
it and
go on your way.
Move on.
Go on your way.
Right, I agree.
Now, before we move on, we have to show you these amazing products we got
Oh,
from
you
our
took pictures
sponsor,
or something?
Sorrel and Sage. I got to get to the Sorrel and Sage clip. Here we go.
Where'd you find that 90-day fire from?
I'd be Googling things. It was perfect because you wanted to burn a fire for the 90-day rule.
Okay, you got 4 minutes for sure.
So, Sorrel and Sage sent us. Now, this is just a sample of some of the things that we got from our sponsor, Sorrel and Sage. But Sorrel and Sage is you experience amazing self-care with them. So here we have bath salts for ladies who love to take a bath. These are amazing bath salts. I have not yet used them, but I can imagine it's amazing. And look how great that just looks. It just looks great. She also has a lot of people are calling this as a room spray. For me, it's a sage spray. So for people who don't like to sage, because they don't like the smell, she actually has sage sprays. And honestly, the things smell amazing. You can also use them on your curtains. But the thing that we love the most is her oils. She's got Touch, she's got Total, she's got Nivea. I mean, Rob, seriously, Rob doesn't like certain things on his body. I'd be like, Rob, we got to leave the house. I need you to put the lotion on. He's like, But when we get our Sorrel and Sage package, if you've ever seen a big 6-foot man just lay himself out, that is Rob. He loves Sorrel and Sage. He loves the way it feels on his skin. And because he has sensitive skin, it is the perfect product for him. So again, Sorrel and Sage. Oh, yes. And let me not forget the beard oil. So Rob also received his beard oil. It's called Bow. Loves it. It smells great. Again, Sorrel and Sage, we absolutely love. Rob in particular, he does not allow me to buy any other products. He waits for his packages to come. So go and support Sorrel and Sage. Check them out on their Instagram at Sorrel and Sage CA or on their website at shopsorrelandsage.com. I promise you, you will not regret it. They also have a body butter called Sheba. I have it downstairs. Didn't bring it upstairs. It's amazing. It smells divine. Any final words?
No, everything she said. Next Thursday, 9:30 Eastern. I'm hungry.
He's hungry.
I'm going to eat.
He's hungry.
Appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. Hit the follow button. Send us a message. Throw some shade. Give us some smoke. Whatever. See y'all next Thursday.
He's done. Goodbye. Good night. Instagram and YouTube. We will see you next week. Bye.